This is expected to be a very long ceremony as we watch the Great Hall of People filled with crowds clapping right now in unison to the music. The leaders are arriving right now. President Xi is going to hand out various honors, awards to various individuals, as I mentioned earlier, community organizations, groups. Let's listen in.
Comrades, friends, National Commendation Conference on Poverty Alleviation now begins. Please all rise for National Anthem. Please be seated. Today, Party Central Committee and State Council held this grand ceremony to honor the great contributors to China's poverty alleviation cause. With us today, we have General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee and Chair of the Central Military Commission, President Xi Jinping. And members of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, Comrade Li Zhanshu, Wang Yang, Wang Huning, Zhao Leji, and Han Zheng, and Vice Premier Wang Qishan. And with us, we have also invited the other officials from party and the country, members from the Central Military Commission, and key personnel from different regions and departments, Central Committee of Democratic Parties, the All China Federation of Industry and Commerce, and public figures without party affiliation, as well as recipients of the national honorary title, role models, and part of the outstanding collectives, and also the family members of the outstanding contributors. And now, please allow me to invite member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, Chairman of CPPCC, Wang Yang, to read out the decisions on granting national honorary title to the role models to the poverty alleviation cause.
The decision to grant the honorary title to role models for their contribution to poverty alleviation cause. Since 18th CPC National Congress, CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping as core has put poverty alleviation as a priority for the governance. The party has led the All Party and the people from all ethnic groups. We have taken a series of innovative measures, and we also roll out the poverty alleviation battle with the largest scale and benefiting the most population. General Secretary Xi Jinping in person provide guidance, deployment, and also offer supervision in this regard. He has made a number of important guidance and laid a solid guidance and also the principle for poverty alleviation work. With 8 years of endeavor, poverty alleviation has gained complete victory. Under current standard, Almost 100 million rural poor population has been lifted out of poverty. All the poorer counties removed the cap of poverty. The absolute poverty issue has been resolved. We have actually written up a miracle in the history of poverty reduction. This has also made an important contribution to build a moderately prosperous society. This has also helped us to embark a new journey to build a modern socialist country. In our endeavor to fight poverty, there were a number of touching stories and outstanding individuals and role models. Their stories showcase the unique strengths from the leadership of the CPC and also the socialism in China. It also shows the spirit of Chinese nation to support each other and help with people in difficulties. It also reflects the core value of socialism. It also demonstrates Chinese people dare to make innovation and conquer difficulties. Also showcasing that for the CPC members, they always stay true to the original aspiration and live up to the mission and serve the people wholeheartedly. These are very touching and encouraging. In order to commend these outstanding individuals, collectives, and also carry forward the spirit of the nationalism and also the spirit of the era, as well as to encourage people from all ethnic groups to shoulder responsibilities, forge a sense of responsibility and mission, and make all our efforts to build a social modern country. The CPC Central Committee and the State Council has decided to grant the honorary title to over 10 comrades, including Mao Xianglin, and also 10 collectives, as the honorary title of the role model for poverty alleviation in China. Right now, China has entered into a new stage of development. We have to implement a new development philosophy, forge a new development landscape, and push forward a high-quality development. We have a heavy duty and a mission. The CPC Central Committee call on all people of different ethnic groups have to be guided by Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era, implement the spirit from the 19th CPC National Congress and also the spirit from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th spirits of the plenary session. They have to consider these people as their role models to strengthen their full awareness, firm up their full confidence, and also to do the two safeguards. We should rally closer around the CPC Central Committee. With Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, they should live up to the mission, stay true to the original aspiration, forge ahead, and make greater contribution to boost rural revitalization, consolidate achievement for poverty alleviation, build China into a modern socialist country, and realize the Chinese dream of great rejuvenation.
Now, I would like to invite General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, Chinese President Xi Jinping, as well as the Chairman of the Central Military Commission, to present awards and certificates, as well as the medals, to the national honorary title recipients. Mao Xianglin, Secretary of Xiazhuang Village Party Committee from Southwest China's Chongqing Municipality.
白晶莹，内蒙古
白晶莹
科尔沁右翼中旗
chairperson of the
刺绣产业专项
Party
推进
Right-Wing
组组长。
Middle Banner People's Congress from Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region.
李煜，中国工程院院士。
Li Yu, Academician of Chinese Academy of Engineering, Professor of Jilin Agricultural University.
张桂梅，云南
张
省
桂梅
丽江市华坪
Secretary
女子
of
高级
Party
中学
Branch and
党支
Principal
部书
of
记
Huaping Girls
校
High
长
School in Lijiang City, Southwest China's Yunnan Province.
赵亚夫，江苏省
赵亚夫
句容市天王镇
Researcher of
袋庄
Daizhong Township Organic Specialized Cooperative
研究员
from East China's Jiangsu Province.
夏森，中国社会
夏森
科学院原外事
Former
局
research
研究
fellow
员
from the Bureau of Foreign Affairs of the Chinese Academy of Social Science.
全国脱贫攻坚楷模集体获得者，
And the collectives
河北省赛罕坝机械林场
Sahanba Mechanical Forest Farm from North China's Hebei Province.
安徽省金寨县花石乡
And
大
Dawan
湾村
Village of Jinzhai County from East China's Anhui Province.
动福建省寿宁县下党
下东
乡委
Township
员
Party
会
Committee of 寿宁 County, Fujian Province.
江西省瑞金市叶
叶平
乡
Township of East China's Jiangxi Province.
湖南省花园县双龙镇18洞
18洞
村
Village from Central China's Hunan Province.
四川省凉山彝族自治州昭觉县三岔河镇
From
三河
Sanhe Village, Liangshanyi Autonomous Prefecture from southwest China's Sichuan Province.
国网西藏电力有限公司农电工作部
Agroelectric Work Department of Tibet Power Company Limited.
陕西省绥德县张家边镇郝家桥
Hao
村
Jiaqiao Village from northwest China's Shanxi Province.
青海省海东市互助土族自治县50镇班彦
Ban
村
Yan Village, Wujutu Autonomous County, northwest China's Qinghai Province.
宁夏回族自治区永宁县闽宁镇
Mingning Town from northwest China's Ningxiahui Autonomous Region. Now, I also would like to invite Comrade Wang Yang to read out decisions made by CPC Central Committee and State Council regarding honoring outstanding individuals and collectives for their contributions.
CPC Central Committee State Council decision on granting honorary titles to outstanding individuals and outstanding collectives' contribution to poverty alleviation cause. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, all party and people of different ethnic groups have been actively respond to the call of General Secretary Xi Jinping. They have been earnestly implement the decisions made by CPC Central Committee and State Council on poverty alleviation. They have dedicated themselves in the fight against poverty. All localities and departments have selected talents, conquered difficulties. They have provided mutual assistance from the East and the West. And also we are seeing the efforts from different sectors of the society. The party members, cadres, and members of the public endure hardships and strive to become stronger. They have made great contributions to build a moderately prosperous society and win poverty alleviation. There are a number of touching stories and typical examples in this endeavor. In order to commend these outstanding individuals and collectives during the fight against the poverty alleviation, and forge an atmosphere to encourage people from the public to learn from the outstanding individuals and collectives, the CPC Central Committee and the State Council has decided to grant honorary titles to 1,981 individuals as the name of the outstanding individual, and also to grant the outstanding collectives honorary title to 1,501 collectives. We hope these people and the collective who are receiving the honorary titles to cherish the honor, work harder, and continue to play a key role, a leading role, and make contributions to the party and our people's cause. The CPC Central Committee called on the party and people of all ethnic groups to learn from these outstanding individuals and outstanding collectives. We should learn from them to be loyal to the party and hold on to the political faith and be a practitioner in exercising Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era. We should learn from them to serve the people and bear responsibility, live up to the mission. We should always put people as our top priority and save the people wholeheartedly, so that we can improve the sense of gaining happiness achievement for our people. We should learn from their diligence, their innovative working style, and their dedication, so that we could serve the party and the people with all of our efforts. We should learn from them to sacrifice, learn from their spirits, stay true to the original aspiration, live up to the mission. We should use our passions and high morale and devote ourselves to build China into a socialist country. All party and people of different ethnic groups should be guided by Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era, implement the spirit from the 19th CPC National Congress and also the spirit from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and the 5th plenary session, strengthen for awareness and for confidence to the two safeguards. We should rally closer around CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. We should forge ahead and work tirelessly to build China into a modern socialist country and write up a new chapter for national rejuvenation of Chinese nation.
Now I would like to invite the leaders on the stage to present the award to the recipients.
we're watching live coverage from the Great Hall of the People of a pretty big moment in Chinese history. The Chinese President Xi Jinping honoring the dozens, now hundreds, if not thousands of people who have met what many thought would be an impossible deadline, eradicating deep poverty in China by this year. President Xi declared in December victory. The ceremony underway, President Xi himself handing out these awards and these medals.
Yes, they're from all walks of life. Some of them are local officials, they're teachers, they are scientists and also academicians, technologies, etc. But they have one thing in common, which is they have made great achievements and contribution to achieve this major victory against poverty here in China. And now today is an emotional moment for all of them, also something that they need to memorize for maybe the rest of their lives.
It is an emotional moment and a big moment to sit on, the stage here at the Great Hall of the People, a building that few people outside of the government get to venture into, and to not only be inside this building that is so famous across China, but also on the stage with President Xi himself handing over these awards, thanking them personally. We saw one emotional moment earlier with a 97-year-old woman who is in a wheelchair. You saw her struggle trying to get up, wanting to greet President Xi on her feet, but her health did not allow her to do that. She is a volunteer, a former researcher at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, had joined the Communist Party at the age of 15 and spent a good part of her life devoted to fighting poverty. So, Dr. Chu, let me bring you here into this conversation. A lot of these figures are well known in China. You recognize some of them, yes?
Yes, for many people, well, I will correct you a little bit. For many Chinese people, these are famous names, but just names, probably less famous than those, influencers and idols. But for me, well, these are not only, just famous names, but also some of the co-workers, and some are my own idols. For example, Madam Zhang Gui made the principal in a Huaping female middle school in a Yunnan province. I always get very personal and emotional when I mention her name. Probably she is the closest walking image of nearly a saint in China. If you have ever known his life record of what has she done to those vulnerable young female in a rural remote area trapped in the extreme poverty with no future, and how she changed and empowered those young people, you will be really touched by her. And she probably sacrificed everything she have, the health, the wealth, the time and energy and anything else, just to stuck with those poor area with those young people. And now she changed a lot of people's future. So probably a lot of people are saying she is like a Chinese version of the Sister Teresa, or like the really great volunteer in education and gender equality and poverty reduction. So no matter how much honor and title you put on her, I think there's no exaggeration. And she's really because of long-time arduous work in a poor area and malnutrition, she has been suffering from a very bad health condition, but she still made it to receive this honor, the well-deserved honor. I think this is really a great day. I think this image really made my day.
And it's not just individuals, it's also organizations, it's different villages and towns that we heard being honored as well for trying different ideas to lift themselves out of poverty, whether that's pursuing different farming ideas, tourism, new technology. So, Professor Gong, when you look at this moment and look at the crowd, frankly, inside the Great Hall of the People, just how significant is this for the folks there?
Well, I think we have, it's that kind of about 10 collective organizations being awarded today, and I think this is one example of why do we do this, because these are ordinary people doing extraordinary things, millions of people involved in this at various levels of government, lower levels of the government.
And we are waiting now for President Xi Jinping to speak after honoring various people from all walks of life, as we mentioned, as well as community organizations and villages here. The Great Hall of the People is silent. The stage is set. President Xi will be approaching the podium any minute now to deliver his remarks and to thank the people for their service.
Now, I would like to invite General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Chairman of the Central Military Commission, to deliver the keynote speech. Comrades, friends,
今天
today
隆重召开大会，
we held this grand
庄严
ceremony
宣告，
to solemnly
经过
declare
全党、全国
that
各
with
族
the
人
joint
民共
efforts
同努
made
力
by the party and the people across
在
all ethnic
迎来
groups in China,
中国共
as
产
well
党
as
成立
this
100周
crucial
年的
moment
重要时
to
刻，
welcome and celebrate the 100th
脱贫攻坚
anniversary
战
of establishing of
取得了全面
CPC,
胜利。
we have declared a complete
现
success
行标
in
准
fighting
下
against poverty. Under the current standard,
9899万
98.99 million
农村贫困人口，
rural impoverished
全部脱贫。
population have been lifted out of poverty.
832个贫困县全部摘
832
帽，
poor counties,
12.8
as well as
万个贫困村，
128,000 poor
全部出列。
villages, all removed from the poverty list.
区域性整体贫困
The
得到
regional
解决，
poverty issues have been
完成了消
resolved.
除绝对贫困的
Therefore, we
艰
finish
巨
the
任务，
arduous task of
创造了
eradicating
又一个
absolute poverty,
标炳史
creating
册的
another
人间奇迹。
incredible miracle.
这是中国人民的伟大光荣，
This is the great
这是
glory
中国共产党的
of
伟大光
Chinese
荣，
people, also the
是
glory
中
for
华
the
民族
Chinese
的伟大
Communist
光荣。
Party, as well as for our Chinese nation.
在这里，我代表党中央
Here, on behalf of a party central
向受
committee,
到表彰的先进个人
the recipients
和
of
先进
outstanding
集体
individuals and
表
collectives,
示热烈的祝
I would
贺，
like to extend warm
向为
congratulations to
脱
you
贫
all
攻坚
and
做出贡献的
to the great
各级
contributors,
党政军机关
including the
和企
units
事业单
and
位，
companies from the party, the government
农
and the
村
military,
广大基层
as
组
well
织
as the grassroots
和党员
organizations
干部
and the party
群
members,
众
cadres, general
驻
public,
村第一书记
first secretary
和
stationed
工作
in the
队员
villages, as well as the team
志愿
members,
者
volunteers,
各民主党派、工商联
the members from the
和无党派
democratic
人士
parties, the Old China Federation of Industry
人民
and
团体
Commerce and public figures without party
以及社会
affiliations,
各界
the people organizations,
致以
as well as
崇
all
高
of
的敬
society,
意，
extend my great contribution
向
to
积极
you.
参与和支持
And to
脱
those
贫攻坚的
who actively support
香港特别行政
China's
区同胞、
endeavors,
澳
our
门特别行政区
compatriots
同
from
胞、
Hong Kong ICR, Macau
台湾
ICR,
同胞
and people from
以
the
及海外
Taiwan
侨
region,
胞
as well as overseas Chinese,
向关心和帮助中国减贫事业
and
的
also
各国政府、
a
国际组织
big thank you
外国友
to the
人
governments of other countries, international
表示
organizations
衷
from
心的
all
感
over the
谢。
world who have shown understanding and support for China's endeavor in poverty alleviation.
同志们、朋友们，
Comrades, friends,
贫困是人类
poverty
社会的顽
is a
疾，
deep-rooted issue in
反
a
贫
human
困
society. Fighting
始
against
终是
poverty has
古今
always
中
been
外治国安邦的
a
一
big
件大事。
things to do on the list
一部
for all countries
中国
throughout the
史
times.
就
The
是
Chinese
一部
history
中华民族
also
同
reflects
贫困做斗争的
our
历
journey
史。
and history fighting against poverty.
从屈原、
From Qu Yuan's
唐太
failing,
息、掩涕兮，
saying that long I
哀
sign
民
to
生
hold
之
back
多
tears,
艰的
saddened
感慨
I am by the grave of my people.
到杜甫
To
安得
the vision
广厦
expressed by 杜
千
甫,
万间，
saying that
大庇天
where
下
can I get
寒
a
士
big broad shelter,
具
a
欢颜
thousand,
的
10,000
憧憬
spans wide, huge roof that all the world's
再
poor
到
people can share
孙
with
中山
smiling faces.
家
And
己
to
人足，
the long cherished
四海之
wishes
内
made
无
by
一夫
Dr.
不获
Sun
其
Yat-sen,
所的夙愿，
saying homes have adequate supplies and the people
都反映了
live in
中
contentment.
华民族
All these
对
lines
摆脱
have
贫困
reflected that the deep hope and wishes to get rid of the poverty and enrich people's lives. After modern time, due to the feudal rules and the invasion made by Western powers, the political situation in China was in turbulence and the war was unceasingly happening, making people in poverty, and the nightmare of staying in poverty haunted our people. To get rid of the poverty had been ongoing and longing dreams for the people. And it's also a very important component to realize Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. Since the establishment of the Communist Party of China, we have always sought to be a founding mission of seeking happiness for the Chinese people and rejuvenating the Chinese nation. We have led in solidarity to create a better life for ourselves through our long-term hard work. And during the period of the new democratic revolution, the people rallied ways and led a vast number of farmers to divide their land from the local tyrants so that the farmers could have their own land and the poor could be liberated. By doing so, the party received endorsement and support of the people, thus winning the victory of the Chinese Revolution and establishing New China. We have laid a solid foundation in political condition. After establishing the New China, the party rallied the people to complete the socialist revolution and establish a basic socialist system, advance socialist construction, and also let the people rely on their own efforts to make great contribution to reconstruct our country, and also laid a solid foundation for poverty, eradication, and improving people's lives. Since the reform and opening up, the party also led the people to initiate a larger scale, well-planned, well-organized poverty alleviation initiatives, focusing on liberating and developing productive forces and intensifying our efforts to safeguard and improve people's well-being, and also achieved an unprecedented achievement. Since the 18th National Congress of the CPC, the party Central Committee make it very clear that building a moderately prosperous society, the most difficult and challenging part job lies in the rural areas, especially in the poverty-stricken areas. If the rural area, especially the poverty-stricken areas, not reach the well-being society, then there will be no complete socialist society in well-being manners in China. We emphasize that the poverty should not include it in socialism. If the poor region always stay poor for a long time and the outlook remained unchanged and people's living standards not significantly improved, then that's not demonstrated the advantages of a social system, which is not what we call socialism. Therefore, we should spare no time and spare no effort to do a good job in poverty alleviation. In the end of year 2012, after the 18th National Congress of the CPC. The Party Central Committee emphasized that when defining a moderately prosperous society, the key is to observe the condition of farmers. So we should see that the farmers in poverty can live a better life. And we also made our commitment that we must not leave a poor area or single person in poverty behind. Therefore, we initiated and also embarked our new journey on poverty alleviation in the new era. In year 2013, the Party Central Committee also raised a concept of a targeted poverty alleviation by equipping with a fresh working mechanism. And in 2015, the Party Central Committee also organized the working conference in this front and giving the overarching requirements on the poverty alleviation targets. So in this overarching requirements is mentioned the 6 areas regarding the poverty alleviation targets, project arrangement, fund usage, measures to households, right people assigned to the right villages, and results of poverty alleviation. We have also launched a series of actions regarding the production development, relocation, ecological confrontation, and also the education as well as social security. Thus, launching the order to start a general attack on poverty. In year 2017, the 19th National Congress of the CPC has put the precision poverty alleviation as one of the 3 tough funds, targeting securing a decisive victory in building a well-being society and also security victory in poverty alleviation. In year 2020, in order to effectively cope with the impact brought by the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the floods, the Party Central Committee required the whole party as well as the whole country with greater resolve and stronger strength to do a good job in these additional tasks and also putting a great end to our fight against poverty, and with every reason to believe that we have that confidence to march towards the final victory. 8 years on, the Party Central Committee have put the poverty alleviation on the prominent position in our country's governance, making poverty alleviation as the bottom line task to build a moderately prosperous society in all respects, and initiated a massive people's war against poverty. The party and the people blazed trails, overcame obstacles, and also promoted the spirit of perseverance and brave enough to tackle the most challenging tasks and problems one after another. Therefore, we have seen major historic victories and achievements. The poor population in rural areas have all been lifted, thus making the great contribution to realize the Xiaokang society. Since the 18th National Congress of CPC, every year, 10 million more people lifted out of poverty, which equal to the population of a medium-sized country. And the income level for these group of poor people also significantly improved, and also give priority to our work to seeing that the basic living needs of rural poor populations were met, and that such people have access to compulsory education, basic medical services, and housing. And also give a great support and guarantee to safe drinking water. 20 million poor patients also received classified treatment. The families long troubled by the diseases, now they could straighten their backs. Nearly 20 million people in poverty enjoyed basic living allowance and the poverty alleviation relief. 24 million people in poverty as well as the severely disabled received and enjoyed living and nursing care allowance. 1.1 million people in poverty now became a member of forest rangers. They protect our lucid water and lush mountains, which also in return give us the great access. No matter it's at the snow-covered plateau, Gobi Desert, or cliffs, or mountainous areas, the sunlight of the poverty alleviation efforts shined in every corner. The destiny of countless people thus had changed, and these people's dream could be realized, and their happiness could happen and realize. The development pace of social and economic development in impoverished regions were improved in big strides. Thus, we have seen a grand changes in their landscapes. The development in these areas have been sped up, and their economic strength have strengthened, and the infrastructure constructions also made great advancement. Social undertakings also have seen made great headways. The issues like difficulties in transportation, get access to the drinking waters, the power, telecommunication, education, and medical services have been addressed, and the compulsory education areas for the poor families registered. Right now, we have seen the school dropout rate realize zero in a dynamic state. For the qualified countries, townships, villages, right now have the tarmac or cement roads and have the access to bus services and mail services. The newly rebuilt rural roads and also the highway reached 1.1 million kilometers, and new railway mileage was 350,000 kilometers.
The power supply rate reached 99%. And also for the grid power network, could offer a power accessibility rate of 100% to the rural villages. For the PV and the 4G percentage in the poor villages, the ratio is also above 98%. 7.9 million households with 25.6 million poor villages have received renovation for their dilapidated houses. We have established 35,000 relocation sites, 2.6 million units of the relocation houses. 9.6 people were able to remove themselves from their previous areas, and they're getting rid of lagging behind and isolation. And these people have been moving into their new homes. Many villages, they no longer need to take the sky bridges, the steel ladders. They don't need to drink the salty water. Now they're able to get access to the clean drinkable water. and they no longer need to live in the muddy houses. Now they are living in the bright and spacious brick house. Thousands of millions of poor families, they can provide education to their kids, and the children don't need to climb mountains and cross rivers to go to schools. Now they're able to live in their schools, and they could have meals in their canteens. And for the 28 minority groups with fewer population, they have shaken off poverty. After the establishment of the new China, for some of the minority groups, they are still under poverty, but right now they have realized the second leapfrog from poverty to overall moderate prosperity. And we have already conquered all the difficulties in regions with extreme difficulties. And right now we could see a profound changes in the impoverished regions. A new era has begun. For people who have been living out of the poverty, they have refreshed their spirits, and they have strengthened their confidence, and also they have stronger courage. Poverty alleviation has brought us a lot of achievements materially, and also we have gained a lot of spiritual achievements. For the population has been living out of the poverty, they have higher morale. We are able to spread out the core value of socialism. We are able to carry forward the spirit of civilization. People are working diligently, and they are using their own hands to create a new life. And this is a new atmosphere in the poor regions. I still remember for a party secretary who had been leading the villages to cut off a road, to build a road from the cliff, and it takes him 7 years to build the road. The party secretary Mao Xiangling from Xiangxiazhuang village said, if we chisel the mountain and also we build a road, and then we are able to build a wider road, even though our generation will suffer from poverty for tens of years, we will bring good life to the next generation. And also, we have a representative, a villager from Wulong town of Yunnan province, Kunming city, Mr. Zhang Shundong. He used to say, even though we are physically disabled, but we are not mentally disabled. We have our mind and we have our hands. We will think, we will do what we can. So you could see for the spiritual world, for these impoverished people, they have enriched their mindset. They have stronger mind, and also they are more flexible, and also they have higher morale. There is a profound change from inside out. The party groups and the villages, we could see the relations have been significantly improved, which means we have a solid ruling foundation of CPC in rural areas. For party cadres and the party members, they respond to the call of CPC Central Committee. They have shown passion, and also they are using their actions to deliver their commitment. In the cause of poverty alleviation, they have dedicated themselves and make tremendous achievements. For some of the poverty alleviation cadres, they bear the spirit to save the public. They treat the poor villages as their relatives. They work overtime they're doing a lot of hard work. When there is a difficulty and there's a critical time, they would like to go to the front line. Now you can see their painstaking efforts is in different places and thousands of households. They have been climbing the highest mountains. They're going through the most dangerous road. They visited the most distant villages and staying in the house of those who are in extreme poverty. Where there is a need, that's where they are. Some villagers said, as long as I'm able to work, I will always serve the villagers. I would like to bring all of the villagers to a better life. He said, I'm a CPC member. I have to lead the others and shake off poverty. The grassroots party organizations have been fully leveraged their role while building the party and doing the work of poverty alleviation. They have realized self-development, and also we could see a big improvement in the party governance in the rural areas. For the general public in the rural areas, they listened to the guidance of the CPC and followed the guidance of the CPC. They all say CPC member take the lead and we will follow the steps with the CPC member, and then we will see hope for poverty alleviation. And they always say we would like to hand the national flag because it is very auspicious. And they also say, don't forget the well diggers when you drink this well. We will not forget CPC for poverty alleviation. Now you could see a big improvement for the relations between the party and the villages. We have created a Chinese model for poverty reduction. We have made great contribution for the global poverty reduction cause. Shaking off poverty, it is a difficult issue that concerning the global development and governance since the reform and opening up. According to the current poverty standard, in China, 770 million rural poor population have been lifted out of poverty. According to the international poverty line set by the World Bank, the population lifted out from poverty in China accounted for 70% of those in the world. And right now we could see the poverty situation remains severe in the world, and for some countries there is an intensified division of the rich and the poor. China has delivered the poverty reduction goal that has been set by the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development 10 years in advance. This is widely appraised by the international community. We are working actively to form the international cooperation on poverty reduction. We fulfill our duties and provide what we can to the developing countries. We would like to be a contributor to move along with the poverty reduction in the world. Looking to the past, considering the situation in the world, there's no other country can lift hundreds of millions of people out of poverty in such a short time. This achievement belongs to China, belongs to the world. We also offer our Chinese strength to build a community of shared future for mankind. In the past 8 years, I hosted 7th Central Poverty Alleviation Conference And also, I conducted field trip for poverty alleviation for over 50 times. I visited 14 poverty regions, and I'm looking at the actual situation, making sure that we could offer help to those areas who are in need. I chat with the impoverished people, and actually I could feel the great changes that have been brought by our poverty alleviation endeavor. In different places, I could see the smile from those people who have been lifted out of the poverty. This is the acknowledgement from these residents. And this is also a compliment to the party members and the cadres. And also, this also a good compliment to all the ancestors and the martyrs. Comrades, friends, time makes heroes. Great achievements come from ordinary life. In poverty alleviation work, hundreds and thousands of poverty alleviation cadres have dedicated themselves in their post. They work together with the impoverished residents. They spend the time together. They're sacrificing their youth and selflessly to the poverty alleviation cause. There are many touching stories in this regard. For 35 years in a row, we have the new mountain mover, Li Baoguo. So we have someone who dedicated herself into education, lit up the hole for girls who are living in the mountains, Miss Zhang Huimei. Also, we have Huang Dafa, who is dedicating himself to use the life to build a bridge. Also, we have someone who are returning to their hometown, Huang Wenxiu. We also have someone who are working at the front line of the poverty alleviation and devote herself into poverty alleviation, Huang Shiyan. And this time, we also see some outstanding individuals and the outstanding collectives who are receiving the honorary titles. And these people are representative of those who have been fought at the front line in poverty alleviation. They always saying there are thousands of people in the cause of poverty alleviation. I am just one of them. In the end, if we look at today, even though there are some hardship, but still we feel happy. And some saying that we should not seek for money, we are not seeking for interest, and then the farmers will believe you, and then the farmers will follow our path. And some people are saying, instead of writing an essay, you should pay a visit to those impoverished regions. That's what we need to do. In the fight against poverty, over 1,800 people lost their lives. Their actions shows the original aspiration for CPC members. And for these people who have been lost their lives, they will be remembered in the history. The party and our people will never forget you. China will never forget your contribution. Party committee at different levels and the government should pay attention and show care to the relatives to those who have lost their lives during poverty alleviation. We have to publicize their touching stories and carry forward their spirit. We have to encourage the members of the public to forge ahead to build a modern socialist country of China and make greater contribution to realize the second centenary goal. Comrades, friends, poverty alleviation has gained remarkable achievement. This is thanks to the strong leadership of CPC, thanks to the traditional virtue of Chinese nation featuring self-reliance and hard work, thanks to the achievements made from reform and opening up, especially the establishment of the new China, and also thanks to the efforts came from different generations by generations, and also a thanks to the solidarity and endeavor from the party and the people from all ethnic groups. We have to focus on the national status and understand the pattern for the poverty reduction rules, and we should come out a series of policies and come up with a number of effective policies, working mechanisms, and systems, so that we can follow a path of poverty reduction with Chinese characteristics and form a poverty alleviation theory with Chinese characteristics. We should stay committed to the leadership of CPC and provide political and organizational guarantee for poverty alleviation.
We should stick to the centralized leadership made by the Party Central Committee and also take the poverty alleviation into the five-sphere integrated plan and the four-pronged comprehensive strategy. And we should make the coordinated plan and advance our efforts. We emphasize the mechanism that the central government is making the overarching plan and the provincial level, the people making the full responsibilities, and the county level focusing on the implementation. So we focus on the secretaries should take the responsibilities, and also the people at the top level should make the overall responsibility, and the 22 provincial people from the central and the western regions made and signed up the mission and made their promise to the Central Party Committee that they will for sure that the stability in the impoverished county during the poverty alleviation period. We also did a great job in building the supporting system, making the party organization in the rural area as our center, and also led the people to fight against the poverty. We also organized the top force and dispatched this force to the main battlefield. In total, we have dispatched 255,000 working teams stationed in the villages, as well as 3 million first secretaries, as well as cadres. 2 million cadres at the village and the township level, as well as millions of the village cadres worked together on the front line against the poverty. Let the party flag fly high over the main battlefield against poverty. Facts have fully proved that the Communist Party of China has incomparable strong leadership, organization, and executive, and should be a reliable leading force to let the people surmount difficulties and marching ahead toward the future. As long as we unwaveringly uphold the leadership of the party, we can and for sure overcome any obstacles in our way toward the goal of meeting people's ever-growing needs for a better life. We should stick to the people-centered development philosophy, and we should unwaveringly stick to the common prosperity parts. The key to governance a country is to first make its people better off. We always emphasize that people should be our main focus, and we should eradicate poverty, improve people's well-being, and realize common prosperity, which is also the essential requirement of socialism. And this is also the key demonstration of our party to make wholehearted service to our people, and also the key responsibility of our party and government. We also take people's satisfaction as our KPI measures, and also to allocate our forces to address the basic living needs bothered our poor people. And we should let the party play its leading role in this regard, that we should first give the top priority to the capital investment in poverty alleviation projects. Over the past 8 years, the total investment reached 1.6 trillion yuan from central, provincial, and township level budgetaries. The number from the central budgetary reached 660.1 billion. After initiating the fight against poverty, the surplus quotas produced by linking newly added cropland quotas with the amount of land used for construction to be adjusted inter-provincial reached the 440 billion, that also including circulating funds intra-provincial level, and also the insurance of small loans reached 710 billion. Relanding totaled 668.8 billion yuan. Financial loans for targeted poverty alleviation amount to 9.2 trillion yuan. 9 provinces from the eastern levels has invited the fiscal aid, and the social fund reached 100.5 billion to the paired impoverished areas. And the investment made by the companies making contribution to the poverty alleviation places by the eastern sides reached 1 trillion yuan. And we made good use in coordinating the manner to use these fiscal tools and strengthen our supervision on these funds. Make sure that all this money spent to the places where most needed. Make sure all these real investment should play its strong role in guarantee the poverty alleviation fight. Facts fully proved that in order to do a good job, we should always put the people's fundamental interest as our key focus and the starting point. And we should also let the benefit of our reform and development to give to our people in a fair manner. And we should always take people into our heart, and also to address the issues bother them one after another, year in, year out. By doing so, we will address people and embark the road of the common prosperity, and also reach the substantive progress in this regard. We firmly stick to the political strengths of our socialist system, and also form the common will and actions against poverty. We mobilized the people from the party and all walks of life to declare a war against poverty. We worked in one heart and also created that synergy, so people from the society as well as the party and the military worked as one team. We emphasize the coordinative help in the poverty alleviation between the eastern and the western areas, and also to construct that paired-up initiative, make sure that there's a good flow in the talents, capital, and technology. We also organize a targeted poverty alleviation initiative, and also organize the people from the Party Central Committee as well as the state-owned enterprises, the democratic parties, the people's organizations, and also the armed forces all pitched in. So the different industries also leverage their own strengths to conduct poverty alleviation through industry, technology, education, culture, health, consumption, and the private sectors, the social organizations, as well as every individuals organize in a very positive manner. And also we have seen the campaign of 10,000 companies help 10,000 villages thrived. We also organize a specific projects in the poverty alleviation in the different industries, and also like the whole society forces to pitch in, so we can forming a greater landscape that covering the different regions and also cross different departments, different companies and units. So with all these good wills and also the moves in poverty alleviation, form and also showcase the great love of the whole society, creating a force to win the battle against the poverty. The facts are proved that the leadership of the Communist Party of China and our socialist system actually the fundamental guarantee for us to fend off the risks and challenges and overcome obstacles. Only we stick to the party's leadership and stick to the path with socialist with Chinese characteristics can we complete the greater cause and undertakings like poverty alleviation endeavors, and also gaining the victories from one another. And the precision poverty alleviation strategy is our focus. We believe the way out is to eradicate the poverty through the targeted manner. We have emphasized many times that the poverty alleviation should focus on the targeted manners. Therefore, we have conducted the meticulous management style for the resources that are also in a targeted manner in terms of allocation, and for the objectives and the personnel that also we have the detailed management, and also established nationwide registration systems, make sure that the resources really benefited and helped the people waiting for those help, and also to channel all these resources to the impoverished areas. Regarding the issues that who should receive the help and who should give the help and how, and also how to withdraw this poverty alleviation list, and we have also launched a set of policies. Make sure all these policies should be tailored. And we also look at the cause of making people in the poverty, and also look at what kind of solutions we can take in order to give that a targeted treatment to these poverty bothered places to make sure their root cause addressed. Of course, all these measures is time required. We should make sure all our efforts should go to the exact places that we want to help in terms of the household and also the poverty alleviation areas. Make sure we're not just for the sake of the average numbers, and we should focus on the big majorities. We have always stick to the development style poverty alleviation plan. make sure that we should deal with the poverty through development, make sure that we also can shift our poverty alleviation method from giving the fish to making the fish by themselves. And we also seek the most effective way so people can enjoy a better life in a sustainable manner. Therefore, education is the key issues, focusing that we should not let our kids be bothered because of the poverty, and we should not let our kids to lose at the starting line, and make every endeavor that they can shine themselves in their life and to sever the poverty passing on from one generation to another. Facts have fully proved that targeted poverty alleviation is the victory method. Development is the remarkable characters for China's poverty alleviation path. As long as we implement the poverty alleviation requirement in a scientific manner and also in a detailed working style, we will for sure that can provide the scientific-based path and the sustainable drive to realize economic and social development and improving people's well-being and deal with the imbalanced and inadequate problems. We should insist in mobilizing our whole society, especially people in the impoverished region, so they can create their own power to help themselves out of poverty. We talk about that how to make people out of poverty, they should rely on themselves. So they first need to realize their mindsets. We always focus on transferring people's needs to living a better life to the real actions. So we talk about the poverty alleviation. So we help them not to really help them get rich, but also let them rich in their mindset. So people can rely on their own efforts and their perseverance to help them out of poverty and change their destiny. We guide the people in poverty the concept that as long as they work hard, they will see the results. And encourage them that as long as they have confidence, the yellow sands could transfer and change to gold, and also strengthen their resilience, that they actually have that encourage, motivation, and bring that into their real actions. People already out of poverty said that right now we have the preferential policies from the country, that we will not wait and see, because we know that we could make that things change and make things happen. So life changed us, and we also change our own life. Facts also fully prove that the people is the real heroes. Encourage people to find their potential, make the hard work to bring that as the self-generated power, to drive them on the embark of the greater life. As long as we insist a people-centered philosophy, rely on our people and respect our people, and let them play the role of the pioneering, we believe we will find out and unleash their potential and also utilize their weakness and strength. We will create many incredible miracles.
We should stay committed to carry forward the traditional neutral that features solidarity and mutual support. We will promote the whole society to exercise the core value of the socialism, to carry forward the traditional virtue of Chinese nation featuring mutual support solidarity, and help those who are in need. And we will also guide the society to show care to the poor residents, pay attention to the poverty reduction cause, and dedicate themselves in the poverty alleviation. We have to improve the mobilization mechanism, set up the participation platform, and bring innovation to the assistance, making sure that people would like to engage in poverty alleviation and make their own contribution. Facts show the core value of socialism and the traditional virtue of Chinese nation can help to concentrate our thoughts and form cohesion of our people. We have to be determined and follow this path and unlock the positive energy from the society so that we can exert strength for the Chinese nation to break away and forge ahead. We should be pragmatic and always seek the truth, making sure that we can provide support to areas with extreme poverty. We have to strictly govern the party, and also this will be going throughout the poverty alleviation procedures. We have to show our efforts and our spirit, making sure that we do all our best for the poverty alleviation. We have to follow a concrete guidance, and we should cut off all the red tapes, and we will do concrete work, and we will reject to exaggeration. We should oppose to all kinds of formality projects, reject formalities, bureaucracy, making sure that all the work we have been done can solve the practical problems of the poor residents. We will exercise the most strict evaluation and assessment, and we will also crack down the corruption and other misconduct behaviors. We will set up a supervision system in all aspects, making sure that the poverty alleviation achievement can stand the test of history and of the people. Facts show arrangement or deployment accounts for 10%, implementation accounts for 90%. We have to do concrete work to ensure the victory for the battle of poverty alleviation. We have to stay committed for solid work, so that solid work can benefit our country, can benefit our people. And then we are able to build China into a modern socialist country. All of these important experience is the essence for poverty alleviation in China. It is also shows the latest achievement of China under Marxism poverty reduction theory. We have to abide by these theories and continue to develop this theory. Comrades, friends, great cause nurtures great spirits. Great spirits lead the great cause. For the battle against poverty has come up a poverty alleviation spirit featuring solidarity, innovation, dedication, and also it features a sense of mission for all our people. For this poverty alleviation spirit, for this poverty alleviation spirit also shows the mission of Communist Party of China, also shows the fine character of Chinese people, and also shows the spirit of Chinese nation. This spirit is also a demonstration of patriotism, collectivism, and also the socialist ideology. And this also shows the Chinese spirit, Chinese value, and the Chinese strength. This also carry forward the great Chinese nation and the spirit of the era. All parties, all country, and all the society should carry forward the spirit for poverty alleviation. We have to stay united, fight courageously, be decisive to conquer all the difficulties lying ahead of us. And we should strive for greater success in socialism with Chinese characteristics. Comrades, friends, the complete victory for poverty alleviation marks that with the leadership of CPC, we have made a greater contribution to lead our people to create a better life and realize common prosperity. At the same time, poverty eradication is not the end. Instead, it is a starting point for new life and new endeavor. We have to resolve the problem for inadequate development, unbalanced development. We have to shorten the gap between the urban and the rural areas. And also, we still have a long way ahead of us to realize overall development for mankind and seek common prosperity. We should not be proud and we should not slacken our efforts. We have to work harder and make greater achievements. It is not difficult to gain victory, but it is difficult to hold on to the achievement. We have to consolidate the achievement we have been made from poverty alleviation, and also we have to work on rural revitalization, making sure that we have a solid foundation for poverty alleviation, and then the effectiveness could sustain. To the vulnerable groups, especially people may fall back to poverty, we have to strengthen our monitoring and supervision, making sure that we can early identify these people, and then we can do early intervention and provide support when necessary. For regions that has been lifting out from poverty, we have to provide support to their industrial development so that we can form a self-driven development. For residents who have been lifted out from poverty through relocation, we will provide follow-up support to these people. We should encourage them to find a job, and we should do what we can to improve the employment. We will strengthen the social governance, and also making sure that these residents can integrate to the new environment. And also we will provide support to those counties who have been removed the cap from poverty. We should set up a transitioning period, making sure that all of these policies remain stable. We continue to set up the secretaries and the working teams in the villages, strengthen the coordination between the East and the West, provide the pairing services, and improve the social mechanism to provide support to the impoverished regions. When necessary, we will improve all of these supports in accordance to the actual situation. The CPC Central Committee has decided that when necessary, we will roll out the assessment and evaluation work for poverty alleviation. We should clarify the responsibilities to all localities and the party committees, making sure that there will not be a large scale of people going back to poverty. Rural revitalization is a major mission to realize the rejuvenation of Chinese nation. We have to focus on the new development stage, implement the new development philosophy, and we will analyze the new situation brought by the new landscape, and we have to focus on the three rural issues. This is the top priority for the party. We have to prioritize the development of the rural areas and the villages, and we will follow a path of rural revitalization with Chinese characteristics. We have to shorten the gap between the development of the urban and the rural areas, making sure that the low-income population and underdeveloped regions can share the dividends of the development, so that these low-income population and underdeveloped regions can catch up with the others. To roll out the rural revitalization is as difficult as the poverty alleviation. We have to improve our policy system, working mechanism, our systems. We need to provide stronger measures to gather more strength, accelerate the modernization of the rural areas and the villages, promote high-quality development for the agriculture areas, making sure that people can stay in the villages comfortable, and then the farmers can achieve prosperity. In our journey to build a modern socialist country, we have to put common prosperity for all people as our priority. We need to do concrete work and work relentlessly. We should fight towards these targets. And we have to promote the overall development of humans and boost the progress for the social development. We need to improve people's sense of gaining, sense of happiness, and also the sense of security, making sure that they feel secure, and all of these efforts can be sustained. Comrades, friends, reviewing the past, we have made tremendous achievement in eradicating absolute poverty that troubled the Chinese nation for thousands of years. We have created a miracle of poverty reduction in human history. Looking to the future, we are working to build a modern socialist country. We have a long journey. We have to keep up with our work. All party people from different ethnic groups have to rally closer around CPC Central Committee. We have to firm up our confidence, work relentlessly, march forward courageously, dedicate ourselves to achieve the goal for the second centenary goal.
Comrades, just now, General Secretary Xi Jinping delivered an important speech, solemnly announcing the complete victory on the fight against poverty. From the strategic vision of building a moderately prosperous society to realize the first centenary goal, General Secretary Xi fully acknowledged great outcomes on poverty elimination, comprehensively revealed the glory journey and summarized valuable experience along that journey, and elaborated the noble spirit of poverty alleviation, and also raised the clear requirement on comprehensively advancing rural revitalization and consolidation the outcome of poverty alleviation. General Secretary Xi's speech was strong importance in terms of the political, ideological, the strategic, and the target manner, call on everyone to study in details and implement into its letters. Let us rally closer with the Party Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, guided by the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, strengthen for consciousness of the need, stay firm to for confidence to uphold, and also to the upgrade our the judgment and capacity, carry forward the spirit, and work together to fight tenaciously, and also to celebrate and the 100 year of the founding of the party and the building the modern social country, and work together to realize the Chinese dream of a national rejuvenation. The National Commandment Conference on Poverty Alleviation now concludes.